Welcome back. You're live with Expresso on SABC3. The studio is buzzing. Why? Because we got a surf champion in the house. Jordy Smith, welcome to the studio, my friend. Thanks so much for coming down. You know, we're stealing you for a few seconds. This is our youth sports slot. Now, you obviously had to work your way through the ranks, and I think I've set an example to all junior surfers. Do you get much time in your year to keep track of what's happening with the young surfers in SA?
I do a little bit, yeah. I don't spend too much time here, probably only 2 months a year. But definitely the January, February kind of period of the year is my favorite. You know, summertime here in Cape Town is awesome, and when I can bolt back up to Durban, I always love doing that and get some good waves.
How are you doing, man? Where are you at the moment, and where are you spending most of your time?
Well, kind of the first half of the year, after March, I spend most of my time in Oz for about 3 months in Australia. And then pretty much from there, I base myself out of the States in California. So it's just way easier to do a lot of traveling, and yeah, it just makes things a lot easier on me.
Now, if we had to look at your rise through the ranks as a junior, I mean, you stood out head and shoulders. You really were, I think, a wunderkind when you first broke onto the scene. It looks like now in South Africa, there's a lot more of an even spread. We are pumping out a lot of brilliant young surfers. You know, Mikey February being one at the under-20 level. Where would you say our young surfers are at the moment? So where's the level internationally now that you obviously are very much an international man, yeah?
Yeah, I think our young guys are definitely up there in the top best young guys in the world. I think they've just got to kind of put their head down now and just really give it a good go. And yeah, they're going to take a little bit of focus, but we have some of the best waves in the world, and there's no better training ground than right here in South Africa.
What was the difference for you? What brought you to that top tier?
I don't know. I kind of started traveling a lot when I was really young. So like at 9 years old, I just kind of got booted out the house and into a plane and made a hotel my home. And yeah, pretty much just traveled the world and tried to get as much experience as I possibly could, and just try and learn from the best.
We've got a contingent going over to Venezuela very soon for an international bodyboarding, the ISO champs. What do you make of their chances against a very tough international field?
I think they'll actually do really good. I know a few people that are really good friends of mine that are really good at bodyboarding, and I think they're actually going over. So I wish them the best of luck. And yeah, boys, come home with some gold.
I like the sound of that, Jordy. We're going to be chatting to you a lot this morning, getting into a bit of your backstory and, of course, the brilliant documentary that is making waves. Lovely to have you in studio,
Thanks,
my friend. Great to have you coming down. And that sets the tone for the rest of today. Now, of course, it is crunch time for our matrics. They're coming close to the finish line for their final exams, and the rest of the schools now deep in the end-of-year examinations. We wish you all the best of luck. But it affords us the chance to do a bit of a recap on some of the summer sports at the moment. We all know that Paul was the best rugby team this season, undoubtedly. But then, who claimed the top spot in Waterpolo and cricket? Well, let's do a bit of a recount. The Waterpolo season kicked off with the Sax Waterpolo tournament in September, where Grey High School of PE announced themselves as potential heirs to the throne. That was until the KZN Top 10 tournament, where we exposed the abundant class of Clifton College, who almost achieved a clean sweep of the boys-only competition, winning 2 of the 3 competing age groups. The final Waterpolo tournament was held out at St. Stithians, where St. John's raised their hands as the top side in the country, and they might hang on to that berth. Now, with teams such as Redham, Sax and Pretoria boys all in the mix with impressive performances week in and week out this year, well, it was going to be tough in deciding which school was the best in the land, but according to schoolsportsnews.co.za, that honour belongs to St. John's, who won the Saints Waterpolo tournament in Sandton a few weeks back and did it in fine style. Redham, who boast an impressive girls and boys program of water polo, closely follow. Clifton College almost predictably rounds off the top 3, with several SA representatives in that side. So I'm sure the school will be aiming for higher in the next season. Now, in the early stages of the cricketing season, Upbeast, Grey College and Pretoria boys and their batting prowess at the St. David's T20 Festival, I think, blew all spectators away. And with their matric seemingly putting in some final quality performances, we were certain one of these sides would occupy that top berth in the standings come the end of the year. Rondebosch, who were touted to be the top Western Cape side, were also in and amongst the running for the #1 spot, but a few upsets saw them fall off that list. So in the end, Uffie slumped down to 5th on the SA School Sports Top 10 list of cricketing schools in the country. Grey College and Rondebosch were 6th and 4th respectively. Pretoria Boys came close to that top spot, but in the end, that honour was reserved for Jacques Callis's alma mater. Wynberg had one of their most incredible seasons to date. And whilst the weather was not always on their side, the Cape Town-based side managed to record 5 wins on the trot towards the end of their season. Now, even without their matrics in the side, the boys managed to rally together and play the kind of cricket that should, but I think, frighten their opponents next season. And please be aware that all of these top 10 lists are subjective, and we really do try to cover as much of a map as possible. And that's a wrap of your youth sport for now. Leanne, how are you feeling on this Tuesday morning? Are you feeling the feel-good vibes, hun?
Expresso Youth Sport, brought to you by Deep Heat. Warms pain away.